I've never considered marriage to be merely an economic union or a legalistic structure. A legalistic structure involving in some cultures and some forms of religion the subordination and submission of women to men. Judaism was always more compassionate than its surrounding culture. But being better than the Romans 2,000 years ago isn't a huge advancement by today's standards. In the Mishnah, women are not slaves, thank God, but they are like property, chattel, which is why in pre-modern times the ketubah stipulated how much money a woman gets if the husband chooses to leave her. The virgin gets the most, the divorcee the least. And according to those legal strictures, a Jewish woman may not initiate ending a marriage to a bad guy. Only the husband has that power. We've come a long way since then, thank God. So what is marriage after today? Marriage is an equal partnership based on mutual respect and love. And that is why today's Supreme Court opinion, allowing all children of God, no matter how God created them, to have that same legal right to companionship in times of joy and in times of sorrow, is so momentous and worthy of note. An Ohio gentleman whose life partner for decades was dying a terrible death from ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, was not allowed to sign the death certificate of his life partner because they were not legally married. As of today, he and all men and women who happen to be gay or lesbian will have that same legal protection as a right according to the law. I've received a number of phone calls since this morning's decision asking the Jewish view. Now, as Temple Israel's new stellar senior educator, Rabbi Feivel Strauss, teaches, beware if someone tells you that there is or has ever been just one Jewish view on any subject. Where there are two Jews, there are three opinions. And remember, since we Jews have only been legal citizens in the nations of the world for the past 200 years of our almost 4,000-year history, the notion of a country recognizing Jews as citizens, which we enjoy and take for granted in America, is radically new. That's what's radical. What gay people want, however, when you think about it, is not so radical. Remember the don't ask, don't tell debate about gay people hiding their identity at the risk of expulsion from the armed forces in America? Think about it. Gay people then and now were asking for two things. Not sexual promiscuity or forcing their views on other people. The two things they wanted were to get married and join the army. And that's radical. If only we could talk more heterosexual couples to commit to marriage and join the army. I had lunch with a prominent evangelical, a friend, even if we disagree on many issues. And he said, what about the effect on traditional marriage? And I said to my friend, if the families in your large congregation or mine, or if either of our own marriages, for that matter, were in need of strengthening, what would a gay couple in Collierville or Midtown have to do with threatening your marriage, my marriage, or anyone's? What threatens traditional marriage, I said, is not Adam and Andrew. It's adultery, alcohol, and addiction. I said it's easier to blame gays for the downfall of traditional marriage in a Liberty Bowl filled with male evangelical promise keepers asking for forgiveness, some of whom beside their trophy prize wives, instead of looking at one's own behavior. But what about the kids, Micah? The kids, I replied. Kids need to see models of honesty and trust, not hypocrisy and abuse. But what about the command to have children? He pushed. I'm all for it, I said. In fact, we non-Orthodox Jews need more children in this world, but only from loving parents who want children and who are committed to raising them. Oh, and gay parents have many children, only they were denied listing their parents as legally married parents until today. Fertility tests are not, thank God, a requirement for marriage. From a religious standpoint, it's not up to us to judge people if they were born gay or lesbian or straight. Those who have problems with the fact that a person is gay should discuss their problem with the one who created people to be different. In other words, the problem is not with the created, but with the Creator. So take it to God rather than taking it out on other people. I do worry about the breakdown of the traditional family. I do. But it's clear to me that the threat to today's family has nothing to do with gay people and everything to do with physical and sexual abuse, addictions, violence, infidelities. Encouraging the acceptance of gay unions, which means commitment and stability, doesn't undermine the institution of family, it enhances it. Over the years as a rabbi, I've counseled gay and lesbian Jews and Jews by choice and parents and family members who've been estranged from religion, estranged from their families of origin because of continued fear, stigma, and meanness. I've also witnessed firsthand how welcoming gay and lesbian couples has actually strengthened families by bringing home loved ones who were literally in exile. I've seen it reunite children, parents, and siblings who have been forced to keep their innermost lives and God-given identities hidden. There's room for debate. Those in politics who say that they would defend the civil rights of gays and lesbians but not sanctify their union with a blessing would have more of my respect if they actually spoke out for civil rights. But most do not. Instead, they preach words that hurt rather than heal. Which brings us to Charleston, and just one comment about this week's Torah portion, Chukat, Numbers 19:20, when Moses, as you recall, is denied entry into the promised land. And why? Because he hits a rock twice instead of talking to it. One of the most remarkable things about Moses, I think, after being told that he will not set foot in the land of Israel because he hit a rock to extract water from thirsty people for them rather than talk to it, is that Moses finds a way to deal with his bitter disappointment. He doesn't yell at God in the Torah, though he may have and could have. He finds a way to deal with his disappointment and loss. He takes comfort in knowing that the one who created us as we are will be with him until the very end, no matter what side of the Jordan River he comes to rest. And that's enough for him to be gathered unto his family and know he's not alone. It is Moses' reaction to this arguably unfair punishment which may be the most fascinating and overlooked part of the story. His example of not making it to the land of Israel teaches that we matter not because of our achievements, that would have been the ultimate, and certainly not because of our anatomy. We matter because we are unique creations, each one of us loved by God and loved by the people who matter most to us. That love will not shield us from pain, death, loss. It doesn't shield Moses from losing this week his two older siblings, his sister Miriam and older brother Aaron, just verses before God says, you're not going to set foot in the land of Israel. But the knowledge of God's love and the love of the ones who matter most to him make the pain and loss more bearable. And for Moses, that's enough. When we experience personal loss and disappointment, as the 9 families in Charleston have suffered, or as that plaintiff in the Supreme Court endured when his life partner withered away, if we strive to live ethical lives, black or white, gay or straight, if we spend as much time as we can with those we claim to love, if we direct our talents and resources to help and heal rather than hurt or destroy, and as Jews, if we deepen our lives with the gift of this heritage, this faith family, wisdom tradition called Judaism, then like Moses, we too can say that we have arrived at our promised land no matter where we end up, no matter who we are, no matter how long or brief our days on earth may be. Amen.